You're listening to the Magnetic Boss Podcast. I'm your host, Calandra Martin, intuitive brand designer for spiritual entrepreneurs. The Magnetic Boss Podcast is where visionaries come together to openly share wisdom and authentic conversations. I know that you are ready to leave your legacy in the world and become sought out in your industry. I also know that you are sick and tired of getting overlooked. You're ready to have a magnetic business. I'm here to help you create your magnetic brand. It's my mission to help you show up confidently with a professional, irresistible online presence. If you're in this for the long game and all in on the big vision you have for your business, let's dive in. Welcome back to the Magnetic Boss Podcast. In this episode, I want to dive into perfectionism and this ridiculous notion that every single one of us has that we have to be perfect at something in order to do it, in order to charge for our products and services, in order for us to promote ourselves in the online space, and in order for us to be worthy of receiving money or love, energy, attention, any of these things. In order for us to have these, we feel as humans, and I say we because this is true for every single one of us, myself included, we feel that we have to be perfect. And this is so deeply ingrained in our society. It is so normal. So I want to start off by saying that it is so normal for you to feel like you have to be perfect at something in order to be worthy, right? And I personally, I'm going to get real honest here, real vulnerable. I personally deal with this on a regular basis in my business. As a brand designer, as somebody who is working with clients in a done-for-you capacity in most cases, I very often find myself worrying that I'm not good enough, or I don't have the skills, or I haven't learned how to do X, Y, and Z, so how could I charge this amount, right? We all deal with this. And the truth is that this is one of the number one things in your business that is going to stunt your growth. It is the number one thing that is going to put a damper on your confidence and ultimately impact the way that your business is perceived. So I'm going to repeat that again. If your confidence is low, if you are feeling this sense of, I'm not perfect enough, I can't charge for this, I can't show up in this way, people are going to feel that in your energy, in your content, on your website, in your videos. Everything that you do is going to be a reflection of how you feel internally. This is why in business, you will see two ends of the spectrum. You will see the strategy and the tactics, and then you will see the mindset. And the mindset is the thing that trips us up the most. I always say this, even though I teach you strategy inside the membership, even though I share with you all of my tips and tricks and tools for executing on your ideas. If you don't think your ideas are good, if you don't think that you are good enough, then you are going to really hold yourself back. You're not going to allow yourself to grow and expand. And so I want to talk about this and give you the encouragement and give you this pep talk, because it is a mindset shift, and it is a shift that you can make almost instantaneously. Clearly, I can't talk today, so perfectionism is not present in this episode. But I want you to understand that once you have recognized that this is something holding you back, then you can do that inner work. Then you can dig in and allow yourself to explore the idea of, how would it feel if I showed up differently? How would it feel if I was really confident in my business and I really believed in what I was doing? And I have a tip for you for this. This is something that I always refer back to, whether I'm launching a new program or talking to a potential client, whatever it is, I always refer back to why I am doing this in the first place. What is the impact? What is the legacy? Because when we get caught up in our own heads and we start to think, well, maybe they're going to judge me, maybe I'm not going to be good enough, all of these maybes, what ifs, we spin ourselves out. But if you anchor into why you are showing up in your business, how you are going to transform somebody's life in whatever capacity that looks like through your services, through the products that you share. When you think about the service of your business, it is going to be so much easier for you to show up and recognize that this is bigger than you. And I will say that this is going to take some practice. It is going to require you to pull up your britches and dig in and do the work and really show up for your audience, for your clients, and for your business, because that is going to create the ripple effect. It is going to allow you to build that confidence over time. If you're not familiar with my background, I started in the online space as a health coach in a network marketing company. And one of the things that I always used to say was that results don't happen overnight, right? You don't suddenly lose the weight that you want to lose, or you don't suddenly gain that muscle mass that you're trying to create. It takes time, it takes dedication, it takes consistency. And the same thing is true for your confidence. The same thing is true for you showing up and really owning who the fuck you are in your business, right? This is why I love branding, because it allows you to take who you are, what you do, and present it in a beautiful package that really helps your audience understand whether or not you're the person for them. And if they decide that you're not, it's not a reflection of you, it's a reflection of the fact that you're just not aligned, right? This happens to me all of the time when it comes to potential clients. I will get on a call with somebody and we will talk about their business, their goals, their intentions. And sometimes I find that we're just not a good fit, right? And that doesn't necessarily mean that the other person is bad or wrong, or that I don't appreciate their business and what it is that they do. It just means that we are not a match. We're not a good fit, whether it's energetically or based upon our values or the scope of the project. Whatever it is, it really just at the end of the day means that there's somebody else out there for that person. And when you can recognize that and really nip the perfectionism in the bud and allow yourself to understand the bigger picture, understand that it's not necessarily about you and your business, it's going to be so much easier for you to show up. It's going to allow you to know that you are standing on solid ground, and whether or not that next potential client works with you or not, whether or not you know all of the answers right now, you can still show up and be really true to who you are, really true to your values, and allow yourself to show up in a way and take actions in a way that align with you and what feels good for you. And when you take a step back from the consumption, when you allow yourself to stop looking at what everybody else is doing and comparing yourself, it's going to be so much easier, and you're going to build that muscle of confidence. So, a couple of takeaways from this episode. I want to keep it short and sweet and really just allow you to sit with this, let it marinate, journal around this if you are feeling that tug of perfectionism. But I want you to start to recognize, where are you feeling insecure in your business? Where is this perfectionism showing up? Whether it is talking about your offers and selling, whether it is sharing your pricing, maybe it's the actual skills that you have and the way that you work in your business, whatever it looks like, recognize it. Really allow it to present itself rather than shoving those feelings of insecurity down. There is a quote or an analogy that I heard years and years ago. I can't remember who said it. But if you think about when you are at the beach and you have a beach ball, right? One of those blow up plastic beach balls, and you push it under water, it is going to ultimately pop back up in your face. And the same thing is true when it comes to these insecurities and this mindset junk that you are going to ultimately have to deal with. If you keep ignoring it, it is going to present itself one way or another. So recognize, where is perfectionism showing up? Then I want you to really understand that this is completely normal. It happens to everybody. And you have the ability to take the small steps towards building that confidence over time, allowing yourself to get better at something over time, and really recognizing that if something doesn't work out the way that you wanted it to or you expected it to in your business, whether that's signing a client or launching a program or whatever it might be, that doesn't necessarily mean that it was a failure. It means that one of two things. It means that you were out of alignment, and or the person on the receiving end, on the other end, let's say your potential client, was just not a good fit, right? And it doesn't necessarily need to be a reflection of you or a reflection of that other person. So really start to recognize where this comes up in your business, because I promise you that the more that you practice at this, the more you take action and execute on the things that are a little bit scary, whether it's talking about your business or showing up and speaking, whatever it is, I really encourage you to take the time to focus on this area, because it will ripple out. It will allow you to see these strategies, learn these strategies, and execute on them when you dial in this mindset shift. So I'm going to leave you with that. I hope that this was a helpful episode for you. If it was, please take a screenshot, tag me on Instagram at calandra.martin, and we will be back next week for another jam-packed episode. Thank you so much for tuning in today. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe wherever you are listening so you never miss a beat. For episode show notes, visit calandramartin.com/podcast. Your iTunes reviews and your sharing of the show helps us reach more magnetic bosses just like you. Until next time.